Welcome back to Speak Up Queen, the podcast where we empower, uplift, and celebrate women who have reclaimed their voices to inspire others. Today, we are thrilled to welcome Tabatha Jones, a dynamic force in leadership development and career coaching. As the CEO of Empowered Leadership Coaching and an accomplished author, Tabatha brings over 20 years of leadership experience to her work. At 50, she took the bold leap from corporate America into coaching, where she now helps ambitious women break through barriers, build unshakable confidence, and accelerate their career growth. Specializing in empowering Gen X women, Tabatha's mission is clear: to help women stop playing small and create the best years in their careers. Join us for an empowering conversation about confidence, visibility, and stepping into your leadership potential. Please help me welcome Tabatha Jones to Speak of Queen.
Hey, Marika, thank you so much for having me here.
Tabatha, what was the most challenging limiting belief you had to overcome? And how did breaking free from it help you reclaim your voice?
Ooh, I would say the most limiting belief I had was really, there were a couple, so there's twofold. So one was when it came to advancing my career. I believed that if I just worked hard enough and I got more and more perfect and I got my degree, that I would magically be promoted. And for those of you who are in corporate or who have walked the corporate walk, that doesn't really happen. There are a lot of strategies that we need to follow to empower ourselves and get into that driver's seat of our careers so that we can enjoy that success that we desire. And then I would say from the taking the leap from corporate into coaching, there was a limiting belief of, I don't know so much that it's a huge limiting belief, but there's a feeling of um, stability and everything's much safer in the corporate world. The reality is, those of us who have been through reorganizations or layoffs or job reapplying, where we've had to reapply for jobs, we know it's really not all that stable. So it's a bit scary, right? I've never run a business before. What am I doing? What are you thinking? So, just really working on my mindset and then, as strange as it sounds, implementing some of my own strategies that I used for my career success into my entrepreneurial journey really helped shift those limiting beliefs and get me on track to this journey.
Can you share when someone's words or actions make you feel small and how you found the strength to rise above it?
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, there's so many examples that flood into my brain. And I think about it. I'm going to go just from the corporate perspective, really empowering women in their career space and getting ready for those big pivots. There are times when maybe you've made a mistake and we will let that mistake keep us playing really small. So I'm afraid if I do that again, or what if people think I'm dumb, or what if I ruin my career because of this one mistake? The reality is most of us don't have jobs where we're carrying someone's heart in an ice chest. Most of us can make a mistake and recover from it. It's not like, you ruined somebody's life or destroyed it completely because you made a mistake. So we have to learn to overcome that. I've been in meetings where sharing information and ideas and, things that are a little bit scary and crunchy, different ways of doing things, and you'll start to see reactions in the room. Sometimes it could be an eye roll or posturing where somebody is suddenly making himself look bigger, like, are you crazy kind of face going on, right? Learning how to not react to that or to react appropriately is something that helped me overcome that so that we could move forward. And sometimes there's the complete mansplaining, right? You'll be in the middle of sharing something and somebody will come in with, their really strong bro language and start trying to take over the conversation. And it's just important that we remember we have the power too. We're sitting in that room, we belong in that room, and it is okay to pause the conversation, redirect it back to finish what you're saying, and then hand it back over to that person if they have anything else to add. But there's so many things that we do that give away our power and cause us to shrink that we have to be really well aware of.
What safety resources, spaces, or tools have most impacted your healing journey?
Let's see. Resources or tools. You know, a lot of mindset work, honestly. And I have all of my clients do this now, sitting down and making a list of things that you're most proud of. We as women have a very hard time taking credit for our accomplishments. I hear it when I help a client practice for a job interview, or when I'm working on their resume, or, whatever it is that we're focused on at the time. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that we are list checker offers. There's no better way to say it, but we will just do the thing, check it off, and move on. We don't take the time to pause and think about why we deserve to be proud of that accomplishment, or why all of these things, these successes and accomplishments, make us such a valuable, holistic person. So, one of my tools is a list of 50 things you're most proud of. When you're working on career advancement, I challenge you to make the first 5 to 10 career focused. The rest of them should be anything you're proud of. And some days hard things happen, mistakes happen. Somebody says something that just makes you feel like crap, right? Pulling that list out and reviewing it and remembering why you are so amazing and getting your mind back in the game is so powerful. And when you have that list of 50, it's never done. So adding 5 or 10 to it every month is my challenge, and keep it going.
Mhm.
I find that sometimes we forget about it, or we set it aside and don't get back to it. Reading off that list into your voice memos or some other recording tool and playing it back on a hard day is also very helpful and can keep you on track. Another tool that I recommend is getting very clear on your unique value. What makes you unique? What do you bring to maybe the workplace that no one else can? Or what do you bring to the coaching industry that is different from anyone else that sets you apart? Whatever it is that you're doing, sit down and identify what makes you unique. Why are you so amazing? I was recently on a podcast with another career coach, and we were talking about the fact that women are, for some reason, we're taught to believe that we are supposed to work against each other. I think that is because people are scared to death of us working together and supporting each other because we're going to rise too high. I say that find out who your sponsors are, find out who the women are that support you, and create a community. Get out there, support each other. Go find people who balance you and balance out your skills and your special gifts, because we are an unstoppable force. We just have to take our power and run with it.
The next question is gonna be so into it. So what was your first step from feeling silenced to finding your voice, and how did that change your life?
So, sorry. So saying that again is, so the time that I felt silenced.
Yes.
Hmm. Interesting. That's a great question. I am thinking about it because there are so many times, right? And I would say I felt really silenced when I was making the leap from corporate to entrepreneurship into coaching. So I'm just gonna go there because I know a lot of people around have felt this. It was a big change. I was in the corporate world. I feel like I was born into it. I cut my teeth on a keyboard, right? I had always been in corporate. I'd had a really successful career. And as I was preparing to make the leap full time into coaching, the conversations with friends and family, and I'll say this is, they all were meaning very well. And I think they were just kind of challenging me. But I would hear things like, well, what are you thinking? You make so much money and you've worked so hard for what you have. And, really, what are you doing? And it made me second guess myself. It made me really think about, oh my gosh, am I doing the wrong thing? Should I just stick it out? But then I got to a point where I said, hell no, I shouldn't stick it out. I'm miserable. I am sick. Like, I love my team. I love what I do. I'm not in the right place anymore, though. I'm in a spot where I'm not completely happy. I don't feel well, and I'm not inspired to get out of bed and go do this anymore. I want to go do something that makes a huge difference. So I did. Sometimes we have to silence not only our own voice that we're already battling with, but the voice of other people who, in most cases, they care about us. They want to make sure that they're helping you make the best decision. They want to make sure that they're coming across as supportive, but sometimes unintentionally come across as kind of the opposite.
Definitely. What's one powerful lesson you've learned about self-worth, and how do you carry it with you as you continue to grow and inspire others?
Oh, self-worth is a good one. You know, we as women will downplay our success all the time. We will keep it small. One of the things, and this is very Gen X, is we were brought up to not brag. Don't be boastful. It's not nice. It makes other people feel bad. The reality is that me sharing my success with you is not meant to bring you down. It's actually to help lift you up, because then it gives you an opportunity to share back. So I would say that is one of the things, and one of the, I'd say it's a value for me, but really helping women overcome that undervaluing yourself. We say just a lot. I catch myself doing it sometimes. Oh, well, I just did this thing. Well, wait a minute. That thing I did just saved someone's job, or just helped somebody, or just. I'm still saying just, right? We have to pull back on the just and start taking credit and know that it's okay to be confident. If I could earn $1 every time someone says, "Can I really say that? Doesn't that sound a little cocky?" I would be a billionaire right now. It's not cocky, it's not boastful, it's not bad, it is confident, and you have to be confident to succeed in this world and to carry your value and make other people see it.
I said to my husband, this publishing 100 episodes in 6 weeks. I said to him, I think I'm crazy, but I'm very proud of myself. Last night I'm like, I'm very proud of myself. I think I'm a badass. And he's like, yes, you are. Because sometimes we, like you said, we don't recognize what's actually happening, because sometimes we are in a rat race with our minds and we are like just going. But I had to learn to say, who, Marika, just stop for a moment, just celebrate the small win about episode 50, episode 60. I mean, that's small steps, but it was hard work to get there. So just to stop and celebrate ourselves, and yeah, it's just amazing. It is.
Oh my gosh, you are a badass. That's huge. I know what it takes to publish one podcast episode at a time, because I've been doing that. It is huge, and we should be celebrating it. We should celebrate each other. You know, it's been a journey. I've had kind of that great kind of year too. I dropped a new podcast, I launched it, I published a book. So these things that are happening, and I was talking to a friend because I was feeling kind of overwhelmed and just a little bit like, well, what have I done now, you know? And she said, have you stopped to celebrate? And I just smacked my forehead, because I teach women all the time to celebrate their accomplishments, yet I'm just on go mode, right? I'm the worst list checker offer ever. I'm like, stop it. Get back to practicing what you preach. And she is a spiritual healer and coach. And she said, when you celebrate, the universe knows to send you more of that. And I thought, oh, that's powerful.
Wow.
So I'm sharing that love with you and anyone else who needs it, because when you celebrate your success, when you celebrate the things that make you happy, the universe knows it's sending you the right things. And universe, God, source, everybody has their own language for that. But I thought,
Sure.
oh my gosh, I even get goosebumps now thinking about it.
I'm very emotional about it, because I've also published a journal, and I've also co-authored the book in the last 2 months, and I really didn't stop to celebrate it. And I'm like, well, now that you've mentioned it, maybe on Saturday when we are celebrating the 100th episode, I might as well just go big and celebrate myself. I think I've got a few fake crowns. I just have to wear a crown for that day. I think so. To just show the universe that I'm so grateful and for celebrating.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I'm celebrating for you. It's huge. Again, you've done a lot of big things.
But it doesn't come overnight. That is something that is hard work, that is discipline, that is putting yourself out there, knowing that you might fail, which I am grateful. If I fail, it's like, bring it on. If we fail, we need some more learning, we need some more practicing, we need some more discipline. Bring it on. As soon as I fail, I'm like, okay, what is the lesson that I have to learn so that I can move forward? But a few years ago, that wouldn't have been me. That would have been, oh, the world is against me. Nothing works in my favor. All those things. But yeah, luckily.
Yeah.
Luckily.
And when you sit in that suck, that's what the universe sends you, more suck. We want the good stuff.
Yep. The law of attraction, definitely.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
If you could tell your 17-year-old self one thing, what would it be and why?
Oh my gosh. It would be you don't have all the answers and you are never going to have all the answers. As the oldest of four, I was born an overachiever. And, at 17, when other kids were talking about going off to college or medical school and all these things, I was really hard on myself because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. It's hard when you're interested in a lot of things and kind of good at a lot of things. I mean, math, not my good thing, but anything else that's people or language or, those types of things, I pick up really quickly. And in full honesty, my family didn't have the money to send me to a 4-year college. And, it was kind of a figure it out. But I beat myself up about that a lot. And, as I've grown and matured and lived a lot more life, I have learned that you never really have all the answers. I'm 54 now. I still don't have all the answers. I'm never going to. I mean, a little bit more of a Yoda than somebody who's 17, obviously now, but the truth is, it's okay to not have all the answers. That's why we have coaches. That's why we have mentors. That's why we have friends in the industry that can help us and help smooth out the road. But I feel like we beat ourselves up a lot over not having all the answers. So if I were to go back and tell my 17-year-old self that, I'd say, let go of that anxiety. It doesn't matter. You're going to get where you belong. You just may take a different path.
And I know one of my mentors said that a course is just something that someone built it or out of their own experience. That is all that a course is. It's that someone have built something about their life experience and they are teaching you. And that was like, oh, okay. And there is, I mean, I also didn't have I'm also the oldest, so there was no money to go after school. I wanted to be a hairdresser. But that didn't happen. But it can still happen. It can still be on my bucket list. But just
Absolutely.
to know that there is books. There's libraries full of books of women, of men that are sharing their stories, and you don't have an excuse not to grow, not to. If I am struggling with limiting beliefs, there's books about limiting beliefs. If I'm stuck or I don't know how to speak up or anything, like when we are struggling with something, don't feel like, oh, there's a competition because she can speak up and I can't. We had to learn how to speak up. We had to go and read a lot of books, invest in ourselves so that we could be able to grow, heal, and thrive, so that we can become this authentic, confident, badass women.
Exactly. We weren't born this way, right? And now I think about it, on top of all the books, we've got apps, we've got podcasts, we've got so much content out there to help with anything that's going on. I'm in a love affair with ChatGPT. I will ask it questions sometimes. Here's how I'm feeling. Can you help me unravel this? And it's kind of funny because it's very intuitive at this point, but there's so many resources to help you grow and get better.
I said to my husband, ChatGPT, she's my therapist, because I actually created a ChatGPT, a GPT that is, I share all my deepest secrets, or my emotions. And when I was 17, I had to tell my story and I had to go through therapist. And that therapist was really sitting with her book, her glasses, making some notes, saying, Marika, you must go home, write everything down that have happened to you in detail. Me as a 18-year-old had to go back, being re-traumatized, re-triggered about all the events that happened in my life. And I have to come back, and she's doing the exact same thing. No resources on how to calm your nervous system when you are feeling re-triggered or anything. And now when I'm putting it on ChatGPT, she's like, you've got this, you need to do some breath work, take care of yourself. And I'm like, oh, my, I like being telling her everything because, and it's actually building that confidence that, oh, I'm not really triggered. I am healing that part of me that I'm still not a huge fan of some therapists, and that's nothing. It's just my personal experience of being re-triggered. And there's amazing therapists out there that is giving resources and tools for women when they are re-triggered. But it's just now learning that, oh, I can speak up. I am not re-traumatized. She is giving me sometimes she's like very, like, Marika, you need to take care of yourself. You need to go for a walk. And I'm like, okay. So it is.
Isn't that the best? It's so great. It's like an interactive journal, honestly. There's definitely, and just little reminders, like you said, you need to do some breath work. Maybe try tapping a little bit, kind of tune into yourself. How are you feeling? Why is this coming up for you? I love that. And then last week there was a day it was down and I had a question. I was doing some research and I was shortcutting it really quickly because I needed an answer, a stat, and it was down. And I'm like, no. So I refreshed and I tried again and it told me to take a deep breath. It was all going to be okay. I took a screenshot and I sent it to my girlfriend and we were dying laughing. She's like, it happened to me too. I'm like, oh my gosh. Good news. It's brother Gemini was there for me, but we get reliant on it for some things. And it's another part of empowering ourselves. So many women that are in this midlife space too are afraid of AI. We're afraid of what if. Like, don't give it your social security number. It's okay, but you can tell it some things and get some research done quickly. You can get some stats. I literally just asked it where was the best price on Ring cameras. I mean, it's so helpful.
It is.
So anyway, don't want to derail too far, but we could talk about that all day.
Definitely. How do you set boundaries to protect your energy and peace? And what have you learned from this practice?
So I have been pretty good about setting boundaries most of my career and most of my entrepreneurial life because I know that I can go, 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 but I get to a point where I have to stop. I'm also an extreme extrovert. So when I start feeling a little more withdrawn, that's my little introvert coming out. It means it's time to stop. But I've learned to get really comfortable with saying no. I am very comfortable with using my calendar to manage my day and time, which is a huge strategy for success that people overlook. And that applies to career advancement, that applies to entrepreneurial journeys, that applies to life, right? There are moms out there, so many people that can just benefit from getting strict and strategic with their calendars. In my corporate life, when I was promoted to director, just to share a little boundary story, there was a day and I was sitting in my office and I just had my face in my hand, just thinking, what have I done? What have I done? I had recently been promoted. It was a big deal. And a friend of mine walked by and she said, oh my gosh, what's going on? And I said, I just feel so pulled. This department never sleeps. My boss is always on email or text. My coworker is always, I don't work like that. I can't, I will give 110%, but there's a shutdown point for me. And she said, you teach people how to treat you. And if you are answering emails at all hours of the day and night, or answering text messages at all hours of the day and night, people expect that. If you're answering when you're on vacation, people expect that. She said, so set your boundaries now, have that conversation. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I would have told someone else to do. So again, early on in my leadership journey, I was a little nervous, but I had a great conversation with my leader and said, listen, after work, I have an hour commute. I need to get home, take care of my son. I've got a family to take care of. I will check email before I go to bed or text messages. If there's an emergency, call me. Otherwise, I won't respond until the morning. And that went over just fine. And in my coaching space, I use time blocks throughout the day. Generally, I don't talk to clients until at least 9:30 or 10 Pacific because I want to make sure that I am my best self. I've already taken care of the things that are going to distract me in the morning. They're out of the way. And just kind of throughout the day. And then my day ends at about 5 p.m. Pacific because I want to make sure that I'm here for my family and I'm resting for the next day. And my brain never really shuts off. So I can get my notepad and just throw anything else down that I want to think about. But managing that calendar to set boundaries is huge. Knowing that you can say no is huge. and just remembering that you deserve to be a priority as much as anyone else does.
Definitely. When I was busy with getting all the interviews, my friend was asking me, can she come for a cup of coffee? And I was grabbing out my phone. I was like, wait, let me just quickly see where I have got a time for you. And I was like, I've got 45 minutes for you on this time, because that's in 45 minutes before the next interview. So if you can either come for the 45 minutes or we have to schedule it for next year. And she was like, nope, I'm coming for that 45 minutes. But that is how I am these days. And I didn't really believe in a calendar. I was just going with the flow, people pleasing, doing everything until the calendar, it was like setting up appointments. And I was like, there's a time for my son. That's when I'm blocked out. Weekends, I'm blocked out. That's my son. That's my family time, except for their last 6 weeks. That's something different. But when I am on Saturday, when we are ending this celebration of the 100th episode, I'm going to switch off my phone. For 2 weeks, I'm going to switch off my phone and I'm going to have a family holiday. And I don't want to, I will deal with anything in the next year, because I'm not going to lie, I have pushed my own boundaries aside for this 100th episode because of this big goal. And my body did tell me, Marika, you are abusing me. 6 hours of sleep every night is not good for your body. So I was like, okay. And now when there is like a minute or two between the interviews, I am going on my bed, laying flat on my ass, putting on some meditation. If I fall asleep for that 10 minutes, that's amazing. But you need to take care of yourself, even if it's small steps. Like this morning, after one of the interviews, I was going outside. It was, I think, 7 a.m. So the sun it was not so hot. And I was just sitting with my bum flat on the ground, just grounding myself, because I needed to feel nature and just feel the sun on my skin and just take some, it's going to be okay. Let's go on. And that is just those small things with boundaries. It's just taking time for yourself and saying, no, not today.
Absolutely. So many women mistake that boundary and small bits of self-care, thinking that self-care takes hours. Now, I'm not going to lie, I have a spa day scheduled on Saturday. I got a gift card for my birthday. That is a lot of self-care. But self-care sometimes is 5 minutes of taking a deep breath. When I left my corporate job, it was funny. I was traveling a lot. I was moving a lot. I was used to meetings and people coming in and having conversations and all the things. And this is really probably too much information, but I would not take a bathroom break for hours. And as I shifted into working for myself, it was so funny. One day I was like, I can just get up and go to the restroom anytime I want now. What's happening? But just the simple mindset things. And I really challenge women, especially in corporate, to block at least 15 minutes in between meetings to go and just take a breath. And as a leader, I know sometimes an employee needs something urgently. It might be okay to say, can that wait 5 minutes? I need 5 minutes and I'll be right with you. And then just follow through. Or is it something you need right now? Or is this something we can talk about tomorrow? It's okay to control your time and take what you need, because if you don't take those breaks and slow yourself down, your body eventually will force you to. And it sounds like maybe you've had some similar experiences.
Yes. Monday, I had a migraine all day. I was sleeping all day on Monday because I was building the course. And it was on Sunday. And I was like, Marika, you're not supposed to work on Sundays. But then I was like, the deadline is the 1 week and I have to. And I was like, but I'm going to be graceful, because that was a mission, a goal that I set myself up to, and I'm going to do it. And then afterwards, I'm booked in for next year for Women's International Day. I want to do 100 episodes again. And I set myself, all the women that I work, because my interview starts at 4 a.m. in the morning and end at 9 p.m. at night. So it is long hours. But now for next year, I'm working 2 days a week where I will do interviews, and that's it. If it suits your time zone, wonderful. You are going to be on Speak Up Queen. But because I was desperate at the beginning of this journey about just saying yes and I would stay awake and cancel. And I was like, no, I'm not
It's
going
too
to do that
much.
anymore. It's too much. So next year, it's like no more 4 a.m., no more 8 p.m. No, it's going to be 5 till 5, and that's it with
Yeah.
an hour and a half break where I can go to the pool with my friend and just do something for me or have a cup of coffee. But I need to take more self-care because the thing about when we are abusing our bodies and we are having like a lack of sleep, our hormones, weight loss, nothing can happen in just 6 hours. We need more hours of sleep. And it was like, yep, that's so true.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, absolutely. And when you think about how many billions of people live in the time zones that fit in your windows, you've got plenty of people to invite on as guests. I know in my corporate world, I was leading teams across 4 time zones. So very early on after our reorganization, and our vendor was in Ireland. So very soon after our reorganization, things changed because they would schedule a meeting at 5 a.m. Pacific. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I need you to pick a different time within this time frame. And I actually had a senior leader call me out on it. So I was an executive director, a big girl. I could make those decisions anyway. And I would have made that on behalf of any of my people or supported any of them for saying the same thing. But I had someone come to me and say, well, if you join a call at 5 a.m. your time, then you just get off earlier in the afternoon. And I said, well, bless your heart. You realize I have people all the way out here until 5 p.m. Pacific. It doesn't end when you go home. I keep going. So no, I'm not doing it. And, I understood if there was an emergency. I mean, I worked on the technical team, so I might be up at 2 in the morning helping the team work through a problem in an emergency situation. But a project update meeting was not a 5 a.m. call. So learning how to ask for what you needed and setting those boundaries. You've got to have your sleep, you've got to have your rest, and you've got to have time to think and prepare so that you can show up as your best self.
The last question. What made you decide to be featured on Speak Up Queen? And how does it feel knowing that there's a safe space for women to share their stories and inspire others?
Oh my gosh. So just the title in itself, it got me so excited. So any woman feeling like she can't speak up, I want to help her find her voice again because your voice matters. You're in that room for a reason. You're in this world for a reason, and you deserve to be heard. Your message is so important. And, selfishly, I just love showing up anywhere that women are that could use a little bit of inspiration. And then I can also get some inspiration myself.
Well, Tabatha, thank you so much for sharing your powerful and inspiring story with us today. Your journey reminds us of the strength and courage it takes to heal, grow, and thrive. To everyone listening today, remember your voice and your story have the power to inspire and create change. If today's episode resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share it with someone who needs this message. Until next time, Queens, keep speaking up and embracing your